That flinch when you see a price tag higher than expected, you learned it around age 7. Not from a lesson, not from a conversation, from something you probably don't even remember. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which financial script you're running and why you've been running it on autopilot for years. Here's the part that surprises people. Psychologists have found that kids form stable beliefs about big, abstract categories: fairness, danger, scarcity, money, by around age 7. Not facts, feelings. A 7-year-old can't do a budget, can't read a bank statement, but a 7-year-old absolutely knows whether grocery shopping in their house felt tense or normal, whether a no at the toy aisle came with a sigh, a fight, or nothing at all, whether money was something whispered about after the kids went to bed. None of that gets filed as information. It gets filed as an emotional rule, and that rule runs quietly in the background for the rest of your life, until you go looking for it. Financial psychologists call this a money script. There are 4 common money scripts, and almost everyone is running a blend of at least 2. Think of these like suspect profiles. Once you know the traits, you'll start spotting them in yourself immediately. The first is money avoidance, the belief that money is bad, corrupting, or something to feel guilty about. People running this script often self-sabotage right when things start going well financially. A raise triggers spending, not saving. They avoid checking balances. Ignoring money feels safer than knowing it. The second is money worship, the belief that more money will fix everything else. The relationship, the anxiety, the self-worth. This script drives compulsive earning or compulsive spending on things that signal, "I made it," even while going into debt to maintain the image. The third is money status. Self-worth gets tied directly to net worth. This one often looks like keeping up appearances. The car, the vacation posts, even when the actual bank balance tells a very different story. The fourth is money vigilance, the belief that you must always be alert, saving, and a little suspicious of spending, even your own. This script often looks healthy from the outside, but taken far enough, it produces anxiety and an inability to enjoy money even when there's plenty of it. Here's the forensic detail. None of these are about how much money someone actually has. A person with 6 figures in savings can be running avoidance. A person living paycheck to paycheck can be running status. The script was installed before the income existed. Let's run an actual case-style breakdown. A composite pattern, not a real individual, but built from patterns that show up constantly. Picture a bank statement. 3 things stand out. 1. A recurring $4 to $6 charge. Almost daily, always between 2 and 4 p.m. Small enough to never register as spending. That's not really about coffee. That's a stress relief ritual that's been priced so low it never triggers guilt, which is exactly the point. The brain built a workaround for its own money script. 2. A savings account that hasn't moved in 8 months, sitting untouched, next to a credit card slowly climbing. That's not indecision. That's often money avoidance in action. The savings account represents the real number, and looking at it, or touching it, feels riskier than the debt quietly growing somewhere else. 3. One large out-of-pattern purchase right after a visible income increase. A bonus, a new job, a raise. That's the classic money worship or money status signature. The belief that arrival at a new income level has to be proven, immediately, through a purchase. None of these 3 behaviors are irrational. They're completely consistent, once you know which script is running underneath them. So where does yours come from? Not from a single traumatic event, usually. From repetition. Maybe it was a parent who tensed up every time a bill arrived, even if they never said a word about it. You absorbed the tension as money equals danger. Maybe it was the opposite. Money was never discussed at all, treated as something impolite to mention, which taught you that money is something you're not supposed to look at directly. That silence becomes its own script, avoidance, installed through omission rather than conflict. Or maybe there was a single sharp memory, being told we can't afford that, in a tone that felt more like shame than fact. One sentence, repeated in your head for 20 years, still influencing a purchase decision you make today. The mechanism is the same in every case. A child's brain pattern matching adult emotion around money, long before it had the tools to evaluate whether that emotion was accurate. Here's the uncomfortable part. Most adults never reevaluate their money script, because it doesn't feel like a belief. It feels like a personality trait. I'm just bad with money. I've always been anxious about spending. I just don't care about saving. That's not a personality trait. That's an unexamined script still running the exact same logic it had at age 7, just with more zeros involved. This is why the same two people can look at the same bank balance and have opposite reactions. It was never really about the number. It's the same child, reacting, now holding a debit card instead of a piggy bank. Which brings us back to the 4 profiles. If you found yourself nodding at avoidance, that's usually the "I'll deal with it later" instinct, the unopened banking app, the vague sense of dread before checking a balance. If you found yourself in worship or status, that's usually the urge to spend right when things start going well, or the discomfort of anyone thinking you have less than you do. And if vigilance felt familiar, that's the person who saves compulsively but still feels like it's never enough. None of these are moral failures, they're evidence, and evidence can be re-examined. The script you learned at 7 isn't a life sentence, it's just the first data point in a case file you get to keep updating. The first step is simply naming which one you're running, because you can't rewrite a rule you've never actually looked at directly. So, avoidance, worship, status, or vigilance. Tell me which one you caught yourself in the comments. I read all of them, and I'm curious how many of us are running the same file.